Hi, I'm Lexi and I blog at Lexton Eclectic where I share about our homeschool. And I was tagged by another homeschool mom on YouTube who asked me to share my answers to a few questions. So I'm going to read through the questions and share a little bit about my homeschool. So the first question is, how many children do you homeschool and what are their ages? Well, I have 6 children. They are 11, 9, 8, 7, 6, 4, and 1. So I'm only homeschooling the oldest 4 right now. The younger 2 are preschool and then a toddler. So they just kind of hang out and make life interesting for me. Okay, what is your homeschooling schedule? Regular school schedule, year-round, part-time, full-time. So we homeschool full-time from August till about April or May, and we've been taking the summers off. We still do some schoolwork and a few informal things over the summer, but we've been taking a lot more time off because we live in an area where winters are really cold and the summers are really nice. So I don't want to be stuck inside doing any schoolwork when we finally have nice weather to enjoy. And my kids have some extracurricular activities like swim team and golf that we do during the summer. So we don't do a lot of school over the summer anymore like we used to when they were little. Let's see. So when coming off of summer break, do you find it difficult to get back into your regular homeschool schedule, or do you have a method that helps you ease right into your regular homeschool routine? So yes, it is hard to get back after summer and kind of find our routine. A couple things we do, we keep a summer schedule. And even though we're not doing a lot of school, we still have reading time and piano. My kids do a few math pages, but we try to keep some type of schedule or routine. It really helps us ease back into school when we've been doing that over the summer. And another thing that I found that is really helpful is we plan a soft start to our homeschool, which means our first week back to school, we do kind of some of the core subjects like math and language arts, and we don't do a whole lot else. Then we'll add in Bible and history, and then maybe the next week we add in some science and art, and then the last week after that we add in some foreign languages or something. We just kind of slowly ease back into our routine until my kids kind of have the hang of what we're doing, and we're used to getting up and getting moving and kind of getting going on our day. So that's something that has really helped my homeschool, is just to plan a soft start to each school year. Okay. The next question, when homeschooling multiple children, what advice can you offer other homeschoolers in regards to teaching and planning for different age levels, including caring for a child who is not at the age to be homeschooled? Well, I have 6, so I have a lot of experience in this area, and the thing that has helped me is just to have a hard and fast routine. My kids know what's expected. I plan time with my little people first. So we actually have kind of a crazy schedule. My husband leaves for work really early in the morning, and my oldest 3 children, who are 11, 9, and 8, get up with me at 6, and I do some of their school before the little people are awake. We get a lot done with very few interruptions. And then right after breakfast is my dedicated time with my little ones. And they get their time that's when they wake up, they have breakfast, and then they know they have time with mom. So they know it comes first. And that really helps kind of fill up their little love tank so they are ready to go play afterward. They feel like they got some good quality time with me, playing, doing some learning activities, and they are more willing to go off and play together afterward than if I were just to start in with school and put them last. The other thing with the baby, we have a rotating schedule, and she plays with the different kids at different times. So they're all responsible for her at different times during the day. They will watch her while I'm working with one child with math, another child is watching the baby. And so I just kind of have them rotate through, and they each have different games to play with her or a different set of responsibilities. But we've just had to create a good routine that rotates through my kids. Everyone gets a chance to work with me, everyone gets a chance to play, and then everyone has some time where they're supposed to be watching the toddler and playing with her. So having a good structure to my day has really helped keep things balanced and make sure that I can get things done and not neglect any of my kids. So let's see the next question. Has your child or children ever attended public or private school? And if yes, what advice can you give other new homeschoolers in regards to helping a child transition from regular school to being homeschooled? Well, my children have never attended school. I started homeschooling my oldest when she was preschool, and we've been homeschooling all the way through. She is going to be entering 6th grade this year, so we have always homeschooled. However, I was homeschooled, and I was only homeschooled in high school. And so I did make a transition from a private school to my homeschool, where my mom homeschooled me. And one thing that helped me is we just kind of started slow. We started over the summer just kind of looking through things and practicing and just doing maybe one subject here or there and just kind of easing into it, not starting everything all at once because it's a really different schedule. And a lot of the materials you use might be different. So it took a little getting used to, and so I'm glad we kind of started a little more slowly. It was a little more laid back and relaxed in the beginning. Okay, next question. When purchasing curriculum, do you make the decision based on age and grade level or by your child's academic strengths and weaknesses? Well, I probably do a little bit of both. I do pay more attention to where my children are as far as their abilities. But I try to be mindful of the grade level and kind of know where they should be placed. So I kind of have something to gauge their progress. But I look more at their ability level, and I have one child who's kind of in advanced math, while the reading level and spelling level is a little bit lower, maybe a little below grade level for that particular child. So my children are not in a specific grade. I call them what grade they would be by their age, but their work that they're doing is kind of all over the place. So I really do focus more on where they are, what they need to work on, and then in areas where they're really strong and doing well, I let them move ahead. So sometimes they do get ahead in certain subjects. Okay, what coping mechanisms can you share that help you stay focused when you're faced with an overwhelming day, such as your child not grasping a specific concept or material in a lesson or subject, or if you are unable to grasp the information and find yourself hitting a brick wall and moving forward in the lesson? Well, I've had a lot of days where I felt overwhelmed or my kids were struggling, and there's different things that we've done. Sometimes we take a break, we go to a park, we go outside, we go for a walk, we have a movie day, we play some games, and sometimes we just have to take a break from our routine because pushing forward is not going to help. My kids are struggling, I'm struggling, and we will only become more frustrated if we keep moving forward. Other times we do have to push ahead, and I have to really gauge, if it's a time where we need the break or if my kids just need to keep going. But we've done things like I've called different curriculum companies, and they have walked us through things over the phone and helped us if we are stuck or confused. And sometimes just having another perspective is really helpful and can help you get past areas where you're struggling. We've done the same thing with my husband. He's come home, and we've pulled out the books and sat down with him and had him try to work through it with us just for that different perspective. So sometimes if you can get someone who has another perspective, who can explain it to your child differently or explain it to you differently, it can really help you understand things. So there are times where I think you should push forward, or maybe you need to ask for help. And then other times I think it's really important to take a break. Because I really value my relationship with my kids, and I don't want to push them so far and become so frustrated with each other that homeschooling becomes a chore, and it's not fun and it's not enjoyable, and it just starts to damage our relationship. So I do try to stay mindful of that and try to think about what is going to be best for that particular day. Okay, from your point of view, what is the hardest thing about homeschooling? Oh, it probably depends on the day. I think one of the hardest things is just trying to get everything done and feeling like I need to get everything done as far as the housework and my kids' extracurricular activities, and trying to maintain our family calendar and cook meals and plan our homeschool and get all of our work done. I sometimes feel like I just can't get it all done. And then that leads to a lot of feelings of guilt. And I feel really frustrated and really guilty. And I compare myself to other homeschoolers and think that they are probably doing a much better job than I'm doing. So for me, I think some of the hardest things have just been my feelings of feeling inadequate or feeling guilty, and feeling stressed and overwhelmed by all the things that I have tried to get done. So I just try to simplify. I try not to read blogs or articles that are starting to frustrate me, where I feel like I'm comparing myself to the author. So I just try to be mindful of that for myself, knowing that my tendency is to get frustrated and feel like I have to do it all when no one can. So I have to ask for help, and my kids have really had to pitch in on chores, and my husband has too, and I've had to really view homeschooling as my full-time job. This is what I do all day, and if I can throw in laundry, great. If I can start dishes, great. But sometimes some of that just has to wait until the end of the day, because it's really hard to do that when I'm trying to chase a toddler and a preschooler and trying to help my kids with lessons. And so my husband has been really understanding and really great at recognizing that I work during the day. Even though I'm here in the home, I can't always get everything done. Okay, what is your own homeschooling philosophy? Well, I think mine has probably changed a lot over the years. When we started, we did a lot of unit studies and projects and arts and crafts, and I love to base all of our lessons around different themes, and it was great when my kids were younger. And then as they got older, I found that I started becoming a little more classical in my approach. We focused more on memory work, and we did history in a 4-year rotation, and I started teaching Latin and Spanish, and we just did a lot of chanting and memorization to learn those different subjects. And now I'm starting to lean a little bit more Charlotte Mason. We are incorporating more living books. I'm doing more narration and dictation and copy work, and I've just kind of relaxed a little bit. So it's funny, I kind of started off more relaxed. I became a little more structured as I added in lots of little ones. And now that my older few are getting a little more independent, I feel like I can relax a little bit again, even though their academics are kind of ramping up. So really my philosophy is very eclectic. My goal for my kids is to disciple them and to teach them about our faith, and also to cultivate a love of learning. And so I feel like if my kids leave our home and they know how to learn and they enjoy learning, and I've taught them from a biblical worldview and I've really reached their hearts, then I feel like I will have really done my job in our homeschool. So, okay, the last question is, what is your motivation and what keeps you going and stops you from giving up? There have been many days where I have wanted to give up, and many days where I didn't want to get out of bed and do all of the things that I needed to do. But what kept me motivated was, honestly, and it's not very fun to say, but just reminding myself that homeschooling is my job right now, and it's what I'm called to do, and it's the best thing for our family at this time. My husband and I decided that this is what we need to do for our family, and it's a really great thing, and it's a huge blessing, but many days it just feels like a chore. And so I've just had to remind myself that, yeah, it is a job, and I may not always like it, but I just need to get up and get started, and usually by the end of the day, we have gotten so wrapped up in what we're learning that I have found a lot of joy and excitement in what we're doing. And so it really, by the end of the day, I feel such a huge sense of accomplishment that we learned something and we worked together well. And so that really motivates me, knowing that I can have that feeling and I get to spend that time with my kids. And thankfully, my husband is really supportive. And when I'm not feeling motivated, he's great at giving me breaks or giving me an evening to myself where I can read a book or get out of the house and go to dinner with another homeschool mom. And so that really helps keep me going. Just sometimes that I can take a break and just refocus, have some time to read or do something that I enjoy. And that really helps me come back to our homeschool with kind of renewed focus and renewed motivation. So there are my answers to the questions. So thanks for watching. You can see me on my blog. I blog at lextoneclectic.com. You can read more about our homeschool there. I share secrets of authentic homeschooling and things that I've learned as a second-generation homeschool mom. Now we've been homeschooling, I think, 7 years. So I share a lot of the different things that I've learned and different homeschool tips. So thanks for watching.